Hi, I am attorney Michael Eline, and I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I'm here with attorney Louis Holzberg, and he's in Miami, Florida. And what we like to do is on our spare time, which we don't get much, is to try and educate people, consumers, cruise ship passengers, about different things that they might experience on a cruise ship, on a fishing vessel, everyday people, what they might experience, and help them understand what's going on with their cases, or just, why is it that they're having such a hard time getting justice or compensation. So the next thing I want to touch on is everything that we talk about is it's a free service. We're not charging for it. It's separate and apart from our work at our prospective law firms. So if it's not perfect, forgive us. We're not here to offer you legal advice. We're simply here to explain things as we understand them and answer questions based upon insider secrets that most people don't have. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the Middle East. We're not here to try and get political. There's people that live in Gaza, people that live in Israel. They're all going to be affected if they tried to book a cruise or they have a cruise that's already booked. And since Louis is really a pro when it comes to this stuff, I really wanted to have him on to talk about this. So go for it, Louis.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks again for having me on. Again, our hearts go out to all the families involved in what's going on in the Gaza Strip at the moment. We're here just to talk about the impact it has on the maritime industry and cruise lines specifically. So for those who are unaware, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines a few weeks ago started to cancel their Haifa trips. So there was a round trip cruise that went out of Haifa, and it stopped in places off the coast of Greece and certain islands like Cyprus, and would return back to Israel. Many passengers loved this as an alternative to solely being in Israel. So you were able to do maybe a tour of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, and then you were able to get on a ship, go out of Haifa, and go to the many beautiful islands in the Mediterranean. Well, Royal Caribbean announced that they would be canceling sailings out of Haifa, at least until the end of the month of October. Now, as we record this today, they are still deciding on future sailings. However, as of yesterday, MSC Cruises not only canceled all cruises out of Haifa and out of Israel for the month of October, but they canceled all sailings until April of 2024, which is a dramatic shift and signaling that the industry in and of itself has decided that due to the dangers of these waters and of these ports, they will no longer be operating in these areas for the time being. I think that Royal Caribbean, as well as Carnival and Norwegian Cruise Lines, among others, will make similar decisions in the coming weeks and months. And this is unfortunate because, as I mentioned earlier, passengers really did enjoy going out of these ports, and we do hope that these sailings will resume as tensions are ameliorated. This was really interesting, and again, we don't mean to be insensitive, but there is a history involving vessels in and around this region. For those of you who are unaware, there was a vessel called the Achille Lauro, and if you take a look at your screens, this was a
Hey,
vessel.
I saw that movie back when I was a kid. There was a really cool movie about this.
So this vessel was actually hijacked by the PLO in 1985. And I don't know the exact motivations of the cruise lines, and I do imagine that there are a plethora of these motivations, both to protect the passengers and crew members, but as well as the vessels themselves. So what occurred here in 1985 was the vessel was actually hijacked and taken hostage, and all of those on board were hostages. And I think that given the tensions and the way that the situation is currently in Israel, these cruise lines have taken these dramatic steps to protect the passengers and to protect the crew as well as the vessel. There's also a history of terrorist actions against US owned and US operated companies. Back in the 2000s, there was a case called De Federico versus Marriott. And this was a case where a Marriott hotel in, I believe, Pakistan was bombed, and the tenants, or excuse me, the guests staying at the hotel were looking to pursue a claim against Marriott for failing to either close the hotel or to take the necessary actions to prevent the terrorist activities that ended up happening in the hotel. These were severely injured people, as you can imagine what would occur during a bombing. And I think that given the history with regards to the Achille Lauro and the history involving Marriott, among many other situations that have occurred around the world, I do believe that Royal Caribbean, MSC, and those who follow suit have done the right thing in stopping these sailings for the time being.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. And I'll tell you that Achille Laurel movie was a great movie. And I recommend everybody to watch that, because people who go on cruises need to understand that you are the sole person in the world responsible for your own safety. So if you are not educated and you don't understand some basic history, to a large degree, it's your fault if you get stuck in these situations. I'm not being insensitive. I'm just saying be vigilant, because that's the price of safety.
And one thing I'd add, for those of you who do have upcoming trips booked in Haifa or at least in the region, I do recommend that you contact either the cruise line directly or your travel agent to find out what your rights are and whether this can be canceled for a full refund, or how you can go about booking this cruise at a later date when hopefully the tensions do die down.
I agree with that. And in closing, I'd like to say, if you have any questions, to put it in the comments. If you liked anything that we did that was good, put it in the comments. If there was something that we did that you didn't like, tell us so we can remedy the situation. Let us know if you like our bumper music. Let us know if it was informative, and anything else at all that can help us improve your experience. Check the description so you can look at Lewis and like him on Twitter and add him as a friend. And we're always here to help you. If you have questions or you want us to talk about any topic, put it in the comments. We'll make sure to try to do it quick. Any other things to say, Lewis? If not, we're done.
No, thank you again, Mike, for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks.